Welcome back to episode 2 of Town Hall Playbook. Today we tackle another big issue, which is most town halls are monologue and not conversations. Employees log in, listen passively, and check out. Even according to Gallup study, companies with highly engaged employees see 21% higher profitability. Engagement isn't nice to have, it's a business driver in today's world. Town halls are a great way for leadership to connect with employees, share updates, and align teams. But sometimes engagement isn't as high as we would like. Maybe employees hesitate to ask questions or discussion feel a little one sided. So, how do we create a space where participation feels natural and conversations flow both ways? How do we shift from passive sessions to real conversations? Today, we are breaking it down into four major challenges and practical solutions you can apply immediately. So, joining me again is Kunal, an expert in HR and employee engagement. So, Kunal, let's dive in together again. So, talking about the first challenge which we have is low employee participation, the silent town halls. Leadership talks, employee listen, and that's it. Kunal, why do so many companies struggle to get real participation during the town halls or internal all hands?
Okay, I would say because employees assume their voice doesn't matter, and it is going to be just another lecture from leadership where they join or doesn't join really doesn't matter. So if past town halls have been all talk and no interaction from employee side, they don't see the point in engaging or even attending that particular event or town.
So, how do we change that mindset?
Okay, I would say there should be something to hit them right from the beginning. Let's say a kind of pre-event engagement, send out a survey or let employees submit questions in advance. That way they would have something to look forward to and they would like to join that particular event so that they could know how their particular concern is being addressed. A quick way would be sending out the pulse survey thing, asking them like what's the one thing that you want leadership to address or what's one change that you would improve, like you would want company to implement so that would improve your day-to-day work. So that way we can receive suggestions from employees and they would be looking forward to the town hall for that particular question as it will get answered in that particular town hall. For instance, in Airmeet company town halls, we use polling to field questions from employees in advance. This approach ensures that employees feel their voices are heard and considered and the engagement level is high right from the starting.
So, how, from the leadership or company perspective, companies ensure that these questions are addressed during the
Okay, while we are preparing the agenda for the town hall, we can select the popular questions right in the advance. That way, leaders would have right time to prepare for it, and they would be able to present with clear and transparent answer. And the other thing would be use live Q&A voting tools. So employees see their like question is being prioritized in the real time as others. Colleagues also have similar problems or might have similar questions. So that could be answered by the leadership team.
Okay, so now the employees are engaged before the event, but then comes live Q&A section and comes the silence as well. We have seen it that the Q&A session opens up and no one speaks up, which is our second biggest challenge. So why does this happen?
Okay, I would say one of the major reason is fear. Employees worry about asking the wrong question or being judged, or even sometimes asking the questions which are tough to answer. So they might hesitate to ask some questions publicly because they don't want to be looked wrong. So a better approach would be using anonymous Q&A tools. Like in AirMeet, employees feel safer while asking real questions without worrying how they will be perceived. And employees can submit questions without attaching their names and that would lead to like thrice more participation on an average. And for example, Sun Life Financial shifted its town hall approach to make meetings more personal and conversational, which boosted employee engagement. And not only that, they utilized platform that allowed employees to submit questions anonymously. So that led to open and honest communication. And employees were able to submit it clearly because their questions were being addressed without of them being like in the fear of being ratted out or being judged.
Great example. How should leadership, thinking from the other perspective, handle some uncomfortable or tough questions that they receive from the employees?
Okay, the key is the leadership should at least acknowledge the tough question, saying that's a great question, and here is where we are standing at this point of time. So, what happens when leadership faces such tough questions? It builds trust within the organization, and there's a transparency that is being maintained right from the leadership level, and even employees would come out and ask like questions without any fear. And the other way would be having a moderator when you're getting an ample number of questions right from the employees, it is difficult to address all of them. But like suggested approach should be a good moderator can group all the similar questions and keep the session flowing. While the leadership answers one of them, majority of them will get covered.
Definitely. And now moving ahead to the challenge number three that we see is engagement, which drops midway. So, ever notice how town halls start strong, but when halfway through, people start checking their emails, start talking over Slacks. They often start getting disengaged during the event. So, why does that happen? Why does the engagement drops?
As you mentioned, because people are just listening and not interacting, and they are using Slack or other things to interact with each other. So it's all slides and speeches, and attention spans drop like eventually. Study shows that the average attention span in a virtual meeting is 10 to 15 minutes before it drops off.
So,
So
what's a quick way to keep energy high?
yes, a quick way would be use live polling every 10 to 15 minutes or an open chat where like employees can just drop off their messages or whatever they feel with respect to what's going on. When we use live polling every 10 to 15 minutes, it resets the attention span and get people hooked again and they start participating.
I think I really like the idea, and using polls as a strategic way would be great. So, could you just share with us some great examples of poll that you might have used in past and would have really helped in increasing the engagement or pulled the employees in the discussions?
Yes, it should be a mix of fun and strategic questions, like something employees want to answer. For example, a fun icebreaker would be describe this quarter in one word, where you would receive different adjectives right from employees describing their work like. So that would be a good pulse point for HR people as well. And other would be a strategic poll, for example, which initiative should be our top priority for the next quarter. So that way you would be able to tap on the creative minds and get those answers from them.
That really makes sense. And definitely gonna make major difference to the engagement. Now going ahead to the challenge number four, which is employees feel disconnected in large town halls. So in big companies, employees often feel like just another face in the massive virtual room when doing virtual town halls, virtual all hands. So even with interactive elements, large town halls can still feel impersonal. So how being a part of HR team we can fix it?
Okay, when it comes to dealing with a large number of employees, the key to fix that is smaller group discussions. Even in a large town hall, smaller group discussions create connection where people could come up freely and answer, can discuss what's going on within themselves.
So
We can tackle it using like a smaller group discussion, divide the larger town hall into a small groups where we can assign them topics and they can discuss it within themselves.
safe to say using the breakout rooms, is it?
Yes. So if we can divide them into small breakout room, assign them topics and have discussion leads. For example, let's say we are dividing them and asking them to discuss about teams, wins and challenges. Then they could just discuss that within small groups and later on come forward or one of them can come forward on the stage and can present this was how our like team achieved quarter goals. Or we can ask them to share their ideas for company culture or even we can have a smaller escape room, like escape virtual escape room kind of thing
Mhm.
organized for them, where they would just come up with a solution and fix the problem.
I love that. But how do you ensure breakout rooms don't turn into another silent rooms with people just staring at each other?
Okay, to prevent that, what we can do is assign a discussion captain in each room, someone to break the ice, someone to kick off the conversation, and keep it natural and flowing. Companies that do that see that there is a 60% more participation because there is someone even in the smaller group to lead them into a meaningful conversation and get something out productive out from those conversations.
Amazing. So I think great discussion today, Kunal. Great points you highlighted. And a quick recap for everyone. If you want a highly interactive town halls, here's what to do. A quick summary of what we discussed in today's episode. First would be engage employees before the event, crowdsource questions and topics. Second would be make Q&A safe and open. Use anonymous tools and moderators. Third would be keep the energy high among the employees and live polling every 10 to 15 minutes to keep the engagement on. Last but not the least would be break down large meetings, use breakout rooms for real discussions. Kunal, HR teams remember just one thing or just one way. What should it be to make town halls engaging?
Okay. To summarize it in that, I would say employees want to engage. As an HR person, you just need to remove the barriers and make sure that they feel that they are being heard.
Great point. So, thank you so much, everyone. I think that's a wrap for episode 2 of Town Hall Playbook. Thanks for tuning in. And just one last thing that I would like to say is town halls aren't about presenting to employees, they are about talking with them. So, see you next time in the next episode of Town Hall Playbook.